Okay, my name's Nicola and I currently live in Chelmsford. I'm from Manchester originally, but I live in Chelmsford now. My daughter is Niamh and she's age 7 and has been working with Lauren since last end of July. Yeah,
Okay,
end of July.
amazing. When we first had that discovery call together, where was Neve at?
Um, well, gosh, she hated going to school. Her confidence was just absolutely in a boots. She didn't want to go to school. She was struggling to read, struggling to remember anything that she was reading. So she would read, she would sound out. She could always do a phonics, as in you could give her all the letters and she'd know what all the letters were. She could, she could sound it out. What she couldn't do was get from sounding to blending and making that one word, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And she would never be able to remember them either. She would have to, if there was like the same word 3 or 4 times on a page, she would have to sound it out each time, even if the word was next to each other. So if it was, say, and I always remember this one, if it was tap, 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 she would have to sound out each tap. So she was really, really struggling. And not just with that, with other things, with maths, which I can get onto that, but yeah, she was just struggling full time with school and a confidence because she couldn't do that, and she felt that everybody else was so much further ahead than her. I mean, they might not have been, but to her little mind, she really thought that they were.
Bless
So
her.
it
And
was
that's
horrible. It really was.
yeah. Well, yeah, as a parent myself, I completely get that. It's awful because
Mm.
they don't want to go to school and they've not really
No, and
don't
you're
want to spend
pushing them into
any.
school, and they're having to they're having to be dragged off you because they literally don't want to go in.
Yeah, absolutely awful. And
Mm.
what you said there about her having to sound out every word is like a really common thing that
Yeah.
parents will come to us with. Okay. And I mean, my next question is what specific problems or challenges were you looking to get help with? But I think you've covered that. And obviously, we mainly focus on with reading fluency. I know you said she was struggling in other areas, but the
Mm.
hope is that that reading then helps them develop in those
Yeah.
other areas. What made you reach out to me? I know obviously that I probably reached out to you actually, but what made you come on board with us over somebody else, for example?
Honestly, because I've seen a testimonial.
There we go.
And
The
it was a
power of the
written one.
testimonial.
Yeah, it was a written one. And oh my God, age was the same, everything that she put on it. It was just, I could have written it for my daughter, basically. I literally could have written it for her. And I just thought, maybe it can help. Because you never know, do you? Because, teachers constantly say, just keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. And, just keep reading to her. And no matter what I did, it did not make a difference with her at all.
Better.
So when I saw that, I was just like, what have I got to lose?
And I know exactly the testimonial you're talking about,
Yeah.
and that was one of my first students actually, and I'm still working with her now.
Mm.
And yeah, her mum was exactly the same boat as you, really
Mm.
emotional,
And I
and it
think
was
the end of
really
it said
tough
something
going.
like, and I've just walked past a room or something, and she's reading to herself type of thing. And I never thought that had happened. And I just thought, oh my God, if I could get her to just enjoy doing it
Yeah.
again, then, you know,
And it's
it'd be
all
worth
tied
it.
up with their confidence and
Mm.
how they're feeling. Okay. Um, was there anything that almost stopped you signing up? So fears, financial concerns, lack of time, doubts?
Yeah, I think, I mean, financial, I think I got a bit of a shock when I realised you'd need it more than once a week. And it is something that you really do need to invest in. But I don't know, I thought if I don't do it, when do I do it? And the other thing that I thought that kind of made me a bit wary, not wary of it, that's the wrong word, a bit more, unsure, was the fact that it wasn't face to face. The fact that it was online, I couldn't work out. I mean, because my kids are too young for, home, like the home learning that they did during
Yeah, yeah.
COVID. They was only babies. Um, so I'd never done that. So I couldn't quite visualize how that would would help. especially
Yeah,
with the type of, learning Eve is. She likes that she likes that, personal touch, should we say. And I
yeah.
wasn't sure how that'd work. So that was
No,
that was
and
another thing that made me think, I wasn't sure about.
I think a lot of parents have that
Mm.
reservation. And even if they were old enough for COVID, I think it's come on so much since then. I think
Yeah, I
no
imagine
one,
it
I
has,
think it
yeah.
was chaos in COVID learning online. So
Mm.
I think even if parents did experience that, it's almost worse because they've got these like preconceptions that it's going to be like that, and it's
Yeah.
not. Um, okay. And what ultimately made you say yes and move forward?
I needed to do something. I couldn't see her keep struggling with it. And I just thought if I don't do it now, she was going into year three, and so I've got to be a bit quiet because she's in.
That's fine.
That if it made me realise when my son went into year one, reading the books that she was still struggling with. He was like, flying through it, and she was still stuck reading. In fact, I think he was actually in reception, the end of reception, and she'd gone into year two reading the books he was reading. I thought it's never gonna make enough of a difference to help her. And plus, because they stopped doing all that phonics stuff, don't they, in year two? I thought, what
Yeah.
happened now in year three? She hasn't got that fluency. She hasn't got the confidence to be able to do it. And it isn't getting any better, and it's never going to get any better. So I thought it's just got to be done.
And again, that's something that a lot of parents will say, like, I wasn't sure. And then my youngest
Yeah.
was
That
flying
was what
above them.
made me
And I realized,
realise that there was more of an issue. Like I
yeah,
just assumed she'd be able to do it. But I mean, I've got to admit, when she came home at first with like the phonics stuff, I was thinking, what? It's
yeah,
obviously not how I was taught as a kid.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
when he went in and started doing it, and he was just looking at words and seeing the words, seeing simple words and being able to just remember them. Whereas she was
yeah,
still looking at the simple words and thinking and having to blend it or not sure what it was. See, her comprehension was quite good with stuff. She could look at the pictures and it was like she was almost making it up, but getting it right with certain
yeah,
things.
yeah.
You know
And
what I
so
mean?
many children do that as like a
Mm.
coping mechanism,
Yeah.
which is clever, really, right?
Mm.
Why wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Bit like me and you reading like Mandarin, for example. If
Yeah,
there were
definitely.
like some context that you could
Mm.
use or pictures to help you
Yeah.
try and piece the story together, you would.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know, you might be fluent in Mandarin, but
No, I'm not.
I'm definitely not.
I'm not sure I'm fluent in English, to be honest. But the thing
Ah,
with the teachers was always tell every teacher she had said to me, I cannot ask her to try anymore. The amount
funny.
of work she puts in, you give her something to do and she will try and try and try and try until she, you know, is blue in the face.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
weren't like she weren't putting the work in. And she wasn't a naughty kid either. She wouldn't she's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, she is for me, but not for she wouldn't go
yeah,
into school and be a naughty kid. She
yeah,
would so I was almost worried as well that she would get left behind. You get the kids that struggle, that shout, that, make such a big fuss about things, and they get all this help. I'm not
yeah,
saying all of them do, but if though it's like those who shout loudest, isn't it? It's the same with that, in what every
yeah,
walk of life type of thing. It is the way of the world, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
kids
it's
are
not
like that.
right, but unfortunately, it's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that was also where I thought, and yeah, she isn't gonna do it unless we do something.
And when this is slightly off the questions that I was sort of planning to ask you, but so when you went in and said to her teachers, "What can we do? I'm really worried." What was the general response?
Just read to her.
Yeah,
Keep reading. Keep reading, even if she doesn't want to read, because we were at that stage where she was like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. And they would just say, well, as long as you're reading to her, it'll make all the difference. She'll eventually get it. She'll eventually get it. That was all I kept getting. She will get there in the end. When?
so it's
Keep
so
saying, and
hard
they
because
kept saying to her, I felt like every year I would get, well, at the end of this year, she'll be much further along. And it just weren't happening. And by the
yeah,
time we was
and it's
getting to the
hard.
end of year two,
It's hard because I don't think the teachers are necessarily that it's not they're not doing their job. They just
No,
don't really know
absolutely
what
not. Her
else to
teachers were
say.
brilliant. Yeah, her teachers were really good and they really tried with her. They would pull her out to do other stuff with her to try. I'm not saying that they could have done more, but they've got 30 other kids as well, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not very easy. And I do get that.
Yeah. And I think also as well, you're limited as to what you can advise parents on, and
Mm.
yeah, and limited in training for struggling
Yeah.
readers is false as well, I think. Um, okay, what have been your biggest takeaways or aha moments so far?
Just seeing well, the main one that I keep thinking about is that her confidence has like really rocketed, and she applied for school council. It's
Tony,
something
I
she
love
would
that.
never have ever done, would never have done. And her teachers tell me, she puts her hand up, she asks questions, which she would never do before. But when she came home and she said, "Yeah, I was really annoyed I didn't get school council," and I was like, "Oh," I said, "Did you put?" I said, "Well, who put you forward?" She went, "Put myself forward." I was like, "Oh, well done. That's really, really good." And just the
Isn't that
fact that she
brilliant?
had the confidence to do that I was just absolutely blown away with it.
And also it just shows you, doesn't it? It just has that knock-on effect,
Yeah.
like that huge ripple effect that's
Mhm.
so important.
Yeah.
And so many parents say that to me, like we weren't worried about it because we thought it's not the end of the world, but then we noticed it started affecting everything else.
Yeah. And
Um,
that was one of my things. And I've always, and I mean, I am an avid reader. I love reading. And it is one of them things that affects every part of your life. You have to be able to read to do everything. You're
yeah,
doing your maths, you've got to be able to read the questions. You do science, you've got to be able to read the questions. It all comes back to being able to read, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. And then your confidence gets knocked, and
Yeah.
obviously they're comparing themselves to their peers,
Yeah.
because that's what we do as human beings, right?
Yeah.
Um, Okay, the next question is what noticeable changes or improvements have you seen in your child? But I think you've probably already answered that.
And her
Um,
reading range has gone up twice in September.
that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. And they've told me
So
that beforehand she was like below average and, not where she was expected to be reading maths and all that. Reading and maths is all at expected level now, whereas she was so far
that's
behind
mad. That's
before.
absolutely mad.
Mm.
That's brilliant. Even I can't believe that.
Yeah, I know.
I can't believe we're that
Me
good.
neither.
That's obviously because she's that's
The
obviously because
confidence
she's
to
put
do it as well.
yeah, and she's put the work in as well.
Yeah,
We've got to
yeah,
give
she
her some
has.
credit, but with the right tools,
Mm.
then it's
She knows how
achievable.
to do it because she knows how to help herself.
Yeah. And have you noticed anything else like in terms of results? So like her like less frustration, willingness to do stuff at home.
No, well, yeah, I mean, reading is back to. I mean, I said to Lauren that she was reading the Gruffalo's Child to me the other day, and she wanted to read it. She's back now to her wanting to read as
That's
opposed
so
to just
nice.
wanting me to read to her. And her expression, changing her voice for the different characters, which was something. I know this probably sounds daft, but that was something I would never have encouraged her to do. I wouldn't have thought, although you read, don't you know, when you read to the kids, you put on
Yeah.
daft voices and you do daft
Yeah.
things like that. But I would never think to have said to her, right, just read that back the way I've just read it and tell me which sounds better. What do you think, how do you think? And I even did it with my son the other day. He was reading a thing and it was a question mark at the end of it. And I said, that's a question. And he went, oh yeah. And he went back and he read it as a question.
That's
Things
brilliant.
like that. And it's
Yeah.
not something I would ever have thought to encourage you to do. Change your voice for that, change it. And the way she went, and I said to Lauren, I'm absolutely gutted I didn't record it or sneakily record it because she's a bit shy. But I am going to try and get her to do it again this
Yeah,
weekend
you'll
because
have to
it's just,
do it on the
yeah.
next one.
Oh, definitely. And her fluency with it was just brilliant.
Oh, that's so nice. Honestly, it's so nice. And
Yeah.
if you'd sent us that recording or when we get things sent that, even though I haven't directly taught Niamh, I honestly get such a high from it because I think,
Yeah.
isn't it amazing? Like I love
It
that,
is.
and I
It's
know that if that
incredible.
was my daughter, I would
Mhm.
be just
You
so
are.
proud.
You do
And
feel so proud. You really do. And even the teachers are like, God, I'm so proud of her. You must be really proud, all this work she's doing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we know all about Lauren.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you've answered this a little bit in talking about fluency, but what internal or mindset shift have you experienced as a parent since we started working together? Is there anything that we've changed your like mindset on?
Well, the fluency part, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that I weren't really aware at the time that when they go from year two to year three, that the phonics stopped. And then they're just expected to be able to read.
Yeah,
So
it's a huge gap in the curriculum, I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Some schools
So,
do have things in place for it, but some schools don't.
yeah. And I think that was a real eye opener for me, which I only found out because I've seen your Instagram. I think I saw it on
Yeah.
there. And they also it's not I've not even answered the question really. That was just thinking, but mindset
No,
that's
no, you
changed
have.
is that mindset that's changed really is that it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Yeah,
You can sit there, and if it's not working out in them first couple of minutes and she into it and she don't want to do it and her focus in there, right, let's leave it. Let's do something else. Look, do you want to play a game? Let's
yeah.
play. The one that she's really into at the minute, this taco cat go blinking.
I've
Oh,
played that game
oh
many a
my
time
God,
with my
it's
niece
driving
and
me
nephew.
insane.
Yeah.
But just things like that, and we got a couple of the BF like Roald Dahl games that they've started bringing out, some maths ones and some reading ones, and we'll do that instead.
Yeah,
Or
which is great.
yeah, just kind of change it. And even if it's only 5 minutes that she does for reading, when she's just read one page and she's getting annoyed or she's getting frustrated, it's like, all
Yeah.
right, we're done then. Don't worry. It's no point.
And you can
Whereas
see that
before,
that sort
yeah,
of like tapping away at it and in the different
yeah.
ways that you can do that
Because
and how
before
that.
it's just been, oh, come on, Neve, you've got to do it. Come on, come on. We've got to read. We've got to
Yeah.
read. We've got to do it. You're not going to learn unless you read. Then she'd get frustrated. I'd get frustrated. We'd both end up whinging, and it'd just be a nightmare. And it's like, well, what have we learned from that? Really, absolutely nothing. Apart from the fact that she is learning that reading is creates a difficult situation, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Creates that stress.
Yeah, creates that stress,
Yeah.
a stressful situation. That's it
Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
both.
And would
Don't
you
need to
say
say.
that is the result of her working, Neve's working with Lauren, but then you being in the parent hub as well and having that some of that stuff
Yeah, I
as
think
well?
probably a bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the parent hub is really like with the game. The fact that you are. I mean, because you do bang on about that, don't you? Sharp, snapper, quick and snapper. Don't have to. Nothing has to take too long.
No, low
Get
prep
a piece of
doesn't have to
paper,
be this
put
like,
it up. Right, so I did
yeah,
that from the lab the other day, and he was loving it. He was like, spent, doing the snap game. All right, yeah, that works, that works.
yeah.
And it's
And
it's
it doesn't have to be a game that it's really it's like a game that you
no,
know already, but you're just
exactly.
repurposing it for something else. Yeah.
Yeah. And it isn't as yeah, and it doesn't have to you don't have to it can be as difficult or as easy as you want it to be, if that
And
makes
what are your
sense.
thoughts on the online learning now?
I'm amazed actually. I think it's brilliant.
Well,
Um, yeah. It has changed my mind completely, like the way I, I'm not sure what system it is that do you use Slack for them as well?
no, no, we use the whiteboard that we designed, put all our lessons on a whiteboard.
Right, okay.
Have an online
And that
whiteboard.
is really, really good the way they can interact with each other. And, Lauren can be sat there and she can like write, underline,
Yeah,
and that really helps her when she's reading.
yeah,
It's really good. I was amazed at, and the different, the circle, the wheel that they do, and they pick and they throw a dice, and they
yeah,
can do all that they can do it all online. It's amazing.
yeah. I actually, when I started this business, I knew I wanted it to be online, but even I was a bit apprehensive because I'd not taught online. I didn't teach in COVID. I was on maternity leave, so I hadn't taught online before, and I was even apprehensive about it. And then
Yeah.
quickly realised I was like, I love this. I actually
Yeah, it's
think
really, really good.
better
It's
for
amazing.
better in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, you've got all the tools that you can use right there.
Mm,
You've not got
yeah.
to go away and like print things, cut things up, do things,
Yeah.
find them. They're like
And
all
I
at
thought
your
I thought
fingertips.
Neve would really struggle with that, but she didn't at all. Not one
Well,
tiny bit.
oh no,
And
the kids love
she
it,
was
don't they?
still able to build up a rapport and everything with Lauren. and a nice like, back and forth. It was just brilliant. Really
Yeah.
was.
Okay. And how would you describe your overall experience and Neve's overall experience?
Oh, just amazing. Incredible. It really is. The, yeah, the confidence, everything, the fact that I feel that I can say she can read fluently. And, the book she comes home with, look at this book I was able to get from school. You'll believe the amount of books that child has got, but she gets excited about
Oh,
a tatty book that she gets from the school library because, all her friends see her pick it up and that she's able to have that because it's within her range. And just things like that, just kind of, but so it has been incredible. It really has.
good. And
Completely exceeded my expectations.
good. And on it's actually quite interesting because obviously Neve wasn't working with me directly, she was working with Lauren. And I think
Mhm.
sometimes that can be a sticking point for some parents because obviously you see me on Instagram and you hear me talking about
Yeah.
it. And I do promise parents that I am only taking on board tutors that have the same outlook, the same skills, experience. Obviously,
Mm.
we're not clones of each other, but
Yeah.
in order to come on board, everyone's got to have my ethos and
Mm.
my sort of general outlook and skill set. And I think Lauren's a really good example of
Yeah, she really,
that.
really cares. You can tell,
Yeah,
you can tell. It really comes across that she does.
yeah,
That she cares about how Neve's doing, how she's getting on, and and she'll check it like this week. She checked in because Neve's not really been herself, and as it happened, yeah, she hasn't been well, but she weren't herself on the last call, which I think is where she was starting to come down with it, and just things like that, noticing little bits like that, and that's on a
yeah.
group call as well. So yeah,
And it makes all the difference.
it does.
I don't, on a side, I don't know if you saw, but in the news they announced this week they're introducing AI tutors in schools. And I just think you're not
Great.
going to get that with AI. You're not going
Yeah,
to get that
right.
empathy and that compassion and that, yeah,
Mm.
bizarre.
I
Anyway,
don't watch the news. I
um,
hate it. Just
no,
crazy.
I try and avoid it if I can as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with our services?
11. But if I have
Great.
to say 10, I'll say 10.
I
Absolutely.
mean, if you
100%.
said two, it would be slightly awkward, but
Yeah, I would want it.
yeah, 11.
No, absolutely. No, I couldn't have. I cannot believe where we are now from where we started in such a short space of time as well. I
Amazing.
really
It's
can.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased. I know I have to
Mm.
say that. Yeah, just the fact that we're having that impact just makes
Yeah.
me so happy. Um, if someone was thinking, and obviously from what you said has built up to this, but if someone was thinking about working with us, what would you tell them?
Do you know, if you're sitting on the fence with it, just do it. Honestly, you won't. Isn't it? Sometimes you've got to invest in your kids' future, aren't you? And um, just do it, definitely. I wouldn't even now, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. Wouldn't have even have been a discussion. Wouldn't have needed that
100%.
discovery call.
No, no, and that it's interesting, isn't it? Obviously, there's all people out there trying to sell you stuff, so I
Yeah.
think people are right to be
And people are a
cautious,
bit, yeah,
but
they are, aren't they? Especially when it's on social media. But I
yeah,
think, yeah. But until you take that, and I think the actual, because this was what I wrote, I wrote down so that I didn't forget, and I forgot, was that week made all the difference, I think, because you didn't have to book in for the 12 weeks. You could just, do that
do the
first week
trial.
and see how you got on. And the difference in them three lessons that she had in that week, in that first week, was unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
and that,
yeah, if you're not going to do it, just do the trial, and you'll see yourself.
and actually, that's why I feel so confident
Yeah.
as a business owner putting the trial out there
Mhm.
because um, I think I know what we're really good at what we do and we
Mhm.
get results. And if it doesn't work, it's not a good fit. You know,
Yeah.
it it's not right for us and it's not right for you. And that then the trial is doing its job
Yeah,
rather than,
definitely.
you know,
Mm.
I'm not trying to trick anyone into anything, you
No.
know. Come and do
No.
the trial, see what it's about. If it's not
Yeah.
the right fit, it's not.
Mm.
But 9 times out of 10 it is.
But just make sure you
Um
do it.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
see, yeah, you see
exactly.
their little face light up that they started to get it, it started to click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. And it's what it's all about. And actually, a lot of times parents won't hesitate about investing in football lessons or dance lessons
Exactly.
or, you know, but
She won't even do it,
it's,
wouldn't even do anything like that. She joined jiu-jitsu the other day. She wouldn't
oh,
even go
but
on the
I love
degree.
that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
We're going to
Crazy.
see her in the future doing
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu. I love that. Um, is there anything else you would like to share?
Oh, just I cannot bang on enough about how amazing, how I'm so happy that I found that I was on Instagram that day and saw just so happened to come across you and come across that testimonial because I honestly did, it's changed Neve's like complete experience at school. The fact that she can put her hand up and she's confident enough to ask a question, she doesn't feel, that she's not going to know the answer or that somebody else. The fact that she can, that, all she comes out of school and she's like, my reading grade's gone up, my reading grade's gone up, I've done it. It's just, yeah, I can't express enough how much it has changed Neve's like complete outlook with everything. It's
Good,
amazing. Must have
good.
said amazing about 20 times.
No, I can't ask for any more. That's what we set out to do, and that's what we've achieved, and that was obviously amazing. And I'm pleased for you, and I'm pleased for us, and I'm pleased for Neve, and it's a win all
Yeah,
round, right? It's everyone's happy, and
definitely.
just so that anyone watching this knows, Neve is now not doing the intensive support anymore, is she?
Yeah.
She's moved
No, she's
into a
into
group,
the group. Yeah.
and she's continuing to do well in the group,
Yeah, she
and
is, yeah. Yeah, she is.
yeah,
She enjoys it. She likes the other children on there. There's no massive characters in on it. So she's quite feels quite although I don't think that'd make a difference with her now. I think she'd still feel all right about it. She got
no,
some big
and we
characters
do
in school, so I think.
we do consider that before we place them in a
Yeah.
group. We consider the personalities that are at
Mhm.
play, and that's
Yeah.
why I think
And it is a really
uh,
nice
it,
group. It's a lovely group.
it works well. I think
Yeah.
a lot of tuition, like big corporate tuition companies, will have groups set day and time every week, and whatever
Mhm.
child comes in, they'll go in a group, and they'll. But we try not to do it like that. We try and
Yeah.
be like, well, these are
Mhm.
the kids we've got. Who's going to work well together? Where are they going to go? Where are they going
Yeah.
to go? Rather than on a Monday's the year three group, it doesn't matter who's in there. You're
Mm.
going in there. We
Yeah.
try and put more thought
Personalize it.
behind it than
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
um,
That really helped,
no,
especially in the beginning with her, because she was
yeah.
apprehensive about doing it. But being with other like children on it. But yeah, she's smashing
Good for her.
it.
Yeah.
This is placeholder media that you'll see if you add a layout to an empty scene. You can go ahead and delete it.